Hello everyone. I welcome you all to ATM Creations and I welcome you all to today's Mandala challenge too. I marked angles at every 30 degrees and let me tell you the radius of these circles. 1.3, 2.5, 4.4, 9.5. This petal I drew freehand, roughly marking the center. I drew freehand. This long petal also was freehand. These two lines also freehand. This curve, which I drew in every single grid in this outermost circle, I drew it with the help of a protractor. And again, this part of the curve is freehand. So that's how this entire mandala design came into existence. After drawing all these petals, I erased the circle. Just to show you, I have kept it in these two places. In this video, I want to share how God's plan is much better than our own plan for us. How many of you agree that we make some plan, but that doesn't get executed at all in spite of our efforts? We feel so frustrated about it. Why in this world this plan is not happening at all? I spent so much of time in meticulously planning the activities and I took action also, and it is still not happening. What is the problem with me? How many of you have had such questions? Now pause the video and let me know in the comments. I had lot of times. Not once, not twice. Many times. So 10, 15 years before, if I would have had the mental maturity that I have at this moment, I definitely would not have asked these questions. Why is my plan not getting executed at all in spite of my efforts? And also tell me how many of you have had this experience, like you planned for something and you meticulously planned for something and you had a whole lot of to-do list to make that plan happen, and you were so disciplined to take action also. In spite of all of your action, the plan did not happen, or the plan happened not the way you wanted it but differently. How many of you have had this experience and you have questioned, why is my plan not executing in spite of my efforts? Let me know this also in the comments, because I have had such experiences. And now, if you ask me, the answer is God's plan is always better than your own plan. Agree? How many of you know what am I talking about? If you know and you have experienced it, let me know. Now, these days, if I plan something meticulously and I take action and it still doesn't happen, I don't question myself, why is it not happening? Is that no? Because I know God is working for me. And that is why what I am doing is not happening, though I take sincere efforts. If these days when I do something and it still doesn't happen, I don't question myself as to why is it not happening, what mistake did I do. I did plan a lot, I took sincere effort, but in spite of my sincere effort, why is it not happening? No, I have stopped questioning myself with all these questions. Instead, I firmly believe, okay, I have taken all the efforts possible and it is still not happening, which means God's plan is there for some reason. There are a lot of such examples, and let me share few of them with you. So, one is I was working for an IT company called Hexaware Technologies at Chennai, not in Bangalore, at Chennai. And I was supposed to attend an interview. So I went. That was a training division of an ERP package, PeopleSoft. And I was asked to do a mock session, a demo session, teaching something. And the training division head was there, and the training division's existing employees were there. There was a project manager of ERP. I still remember his name. His name is Murthy Chokkanathan. He's an amazing human being. I'll tell you why later. So he was also there. Everybody introduced themselves, and I was a little nervous because that job was important to me for some reason. So that project manager understood that I was nervous. So he said, Radha, you don't have to be nervous. We were also like you once and now have come this far. So go ahead, take some deep breaths and do what you were prepared to do. I said, okay, sir. So when I said, okay, sir, he was like, Radha, first thing I want to correct something here right now. In this company, we don't have a culture of sir and ma'am. We call anyone and everyone by their name. And by the way, my name is Murthy Chokanathan. You can call me Murthy. I gave a smile and said, sure, Murthy. The mock session started. I gave my mock session. Everybody were like evaluating my other aspects of teaching. And this one person, Murthy, asked a silly doubt. I definitely gave an answer immediately. And he didn't say anything at the time of me answering the question. But once the mock session was over, he said he was laughing. I said, Murthy, why are you laughing? He said, Radha, the answer you gave was completely incorrect. That's not the right answer. And he gave the right answer then. However, the way you handled the situation was amazing. So I'm going to say yes to select you as a team member for my team. I said, thank you. He said, you seem to have a lot of potential. So I already have your growth path for this organization. So welcome. Come in. Quickly, the same day, every other process happened, and within a week was my joining date. On the day of joining, I had another surprise that was awaiting. Normally when a new member joins, one of the existing team member only trains them. Now when I joined, looks like Murthy had said everybody, no, for Radha, I'm going to do the training. Normally he doesn't take up that job, but for me he did. And everybody else was like, oh, she is just a newcomer. Why such special privilege and all? And I didn't even know that that was a special privilege. And yes, I was trained by him. And the first training that I handled independently, you know how the training happens is when he does the program, I'll sit and attend as a trainee. And the second program, I'll do the training and he'll be there inside the classroom as a silent member. If at all I'm struggling, he'll pitch in, but otherwise, he'll be a silent member. Third training program, I have to handle independently without him. So that's how the plan was. So, first was over, I was trained. Second was over, he was assisting. And third training, now I have to do it individually. I did. And I don't know what went on in that Murthy's mind. Because during the first two programs, I mean, when I was trained and when he was assisting me in training, the audience were freshers. And when I had to handle the training independently, the audience were middle management people. So I had to handle people who were already 10 years, 15 years experienced. But yes, to the technology that I am going to teach, they are completely new. In the first two training programs which I attended and he assisted, we became good friends too. And then when I got to know about the audience, the participants who were supposed to attend my program, I asked Murthy, like, Murthy, looks like you want to put me into some trouble. Then he actually did not understand what did I mean by that. And then he was like, what makes you say that? I said, in the first two programs, audience were freshers. So I was under an assumption that I'm going to teach freshers. Freshers are a little easier to handle. And now you have given me middle management. They are experienced and I'm not experienced. And then he was like, so what? In the technology that you are going to teach, they don't even know ABCD. So go ahead and handle. And yeah, the training started. I started doing the first day. Somehow it was very basics. No, so it was a 15-day program, Monday to Friday for 3 weeks. So the first day training went really well, and at the end of the day, myself and my manager used to sit, and he takes updates on what happened. So during that session, I said, today's program went really well. Thank you. And he smiled. That's it. Now, day two program starts. When something more technical, I have to start teaching them. The problem that I faced was the middle management that was attending my program, where I am the trainer and they are getting trained, they were all experienced in some other technology. So, whenever I teach, what they did was to compare what they are learning with what they already learned, and they started asking questions. And now, in my case, I know only the technology that I am teaching, I don't know the other. So, obviously, I didn't know how to answer the question. So, during the first short break, I went to my manager's chamber and said, Murthy, I quit. I'm not doing this anymore. You seem to have put me into problem, and if I ask, you only smile, you don't properly say anything too. I'm quitting, I'm not doing this. After the short break, you go and handle, I'm not doing it. And then he was like, Radha, first sit. And then he asked, what happened? Tell me that first. I said, this is what is happening. They are comparing the previous tech and asking questions for which I don't know the answer. And then he said, Radha, quitting is not an option here. Doing the job is the only option. Now, if they ask question and you don't know the answer, not knowing the answer is not a crime. I've learned a lot of lessons from this person, Murthy, okay? And the first lesson is this: when someone asks a valid question and you still don't know the answer, not knowing the answer is not a crime, that's okay. But what you can tell them is, tell them that you will find the answer and let them know. And your credibility stands when you take effort to find out the answer and to let the person know. So that's how it is. And then I asked, how will I find the answer? I don't know the answer at all. No, I don't even know how to find the answer. And then he said, Radha, I'm there, no? If they ask some question and you don't know the answer, tell them I'll definitely find out and tell you before the next session. And then during the break, you come and let me know. I'm going to give you the answer. Go and tell them. I said, will this work? His reply was, if you believe, it'll work. And I said, okay, let me give a try with this. So, in the next session, after the short break, I went, got the answer for whatever question I was so puzzled with. And then I gave them the answer. I honestly told them that, look, I wasn't experienced in your technology. So, I took the answer from my manager and I'm giving you. So, in case you have any questions, absolutely no issues, you can ask me, but I may take time to respond. I thought they are going to make fun of me for not knowing the answer, but to my surprise, the middle management people were like, Radha, we really like your approach. And from then onwards, you know what surprisingly happened? People had a lot of doubts, but they never asked me during the training. They always asked me during the break. And all those participants became very good friend of mine. And this happened from the third day onwards. The moment I stood tall and answered and handled the situation, the scary situation became small and I became big. And after a couple of trainings, when I started handling things on my own, this Murthy said, Radha, enough of doing trainings. Now I'm going to change you from doing training to creating some e learning products. I said, what is that e and what is that learning? I don't understand. And again, Murthy's reply was, Radha, we don't start doing anything after having 100% understanding. Most of the times we learn on the job. How true is that, no? And then he said, what is the assurance that I'll have a friendly manager like you there? He again gave a smile and said, Radha, don't worry about all that. You can always come back to me and ask for any help. As long as we both are in the same organization, I can help you. Even otherwise, I can. And I was like, okay, thank you. And I got into e-learning division. I didn't actually like it, but I had to do it because I told you the job was important to me. So I did. And at one point of time, we had to relocate from Chennai to Bangalore. So I did thank my manager who was very supportive at Hexaware Technologies, and in Bangalore, I joined Wipro Technologies. So he said, Radha, life seems to be taking a great turn for you. Go ahead and thoroughly enjoy your new job in a new place, in a new city as well. So I came, joined Wipro, and at Hexavac Technologies, initially I was teaching the technology. From teaching, I moved to creating e learning products. But then at Wipro, I wanted to do what I loved doing. So I again applied only for training and then joined as a trainer. I started doing PeopleSoft training there, but then somehow that training division had to be closed, dissolved basically. So we were given options to move to different departments. And obviously, I have not done any coding. I mean, I have not been a typical software developer. Though I was competent enough to do it, somehow I didn't like it. So I had never developed any software as such, but I developed lot of software developers. Okay, so among the options that was given when the training department was dissolved, one was e-learning. Obviously, I took on that option. And that's exactly when I realized how important was that experience of creating e-learning products in the previous organization. If I had not opted for that change in the previous organization, I would have as well lost my job at Wipro. And that's when it has hit my mind that God's plan is always good for you. An okay job at corporates, most of you might have heard, is not that easy, very stressful. So I went through the stress, and at one point of time, Krishna, Sri Ram were there. I couldn't manage, so I opted to quit. I did quit and then focused on racing Krishna and Sri Ram. Once they became slightly independent to the extent they can brush their teeth on their own, they can bath on their own, they can use washroom on their own, to that extent. That is what I mean by independent. They can wear dresses on their own, shoes on their own, eat on their own. So when I had made them independent, I didn't make them independent, I helped them to become independent. Okay, I should say like that. I started to focus on developing my own professional life again. But this time I opted to be a freelancer than working for a corporate because I needed the flexibility of timing and deciding what to do, where to work, what time to work, how long to work, whether to work or not. I wanted all these flexibility with me. So I didn't join any corporate then. I started being a freelancer. And obviously, as a freelancer, I can only do two things. One was doing training, the other was doing e learning. And I started with training. So when I started on my own, that's when I actually understood how the experience that I gained out of working for those corporates is so helpful. The first training that I did was Logitech, and all were top management people. There was a time when I was scared for doing training program for middle management, but now with the experience that I have gained from those corporates, I was willing to do my program for top management, and I was so successful in doing the program. I was in Bangalore that time, but the training happened at Chennai for Logitech. This was in 2012, 12 years before. And the program was very successful. And those top management people knew I'm a little girl. Yeah, for them, I was little. Yeah, that's how my journey on training started. Now, this journey of my training, I'll talk about it separately in another video. I have loads of stories to share about my training journey from 2012 to 2020. Okay, so I'll talk about it in a separate video. Now, fast forward to 2024. No, fast forward to 2020. So 8 years, it was amazing journey. I could travel a lot, meet a lot of new people. I did what I wanted to do, and in the meanwhile, I got myself certified in neuro linguistic programming, that is NLP, and I got myself certified in hypnotherapy. So the program on NLP also included life coaching. Program on hypnotherapy was to the next level. I had a lot of insights. I'll talk about all those experiences separately in another video. Now, coming to this fast forward 2020, training came to a standstill. No training programs. Obviously, no COVID lockdown. You know what happened then. So, training could not happen. Everything became online. And I know a lot of my friends were struggling to shift from offline to online. But for me, the shift was so seamless. It was so easy. I have done all of that at both Hexaware Technologies and Wipro Technologies. So when I shifted from offline mode to online mode, I wasn't struggling at all. It was so easy for me. I remember I have helped lot of people in understanding how this online thing works. I've helped lot of people. Over the phone, I have assisted them. And they used to ask, how Radha you quickly shifted from offline to online and we are struggling. So again, I understood, okay, God's plan seems to be amazing. And yeah, in 2024, this year, January, I somehow thought I need to start with my recorded courses. And when I started, I did not have any problem in designing the course, because the course design, it is as anybody else thinks, it's not just recording the video, editing it, and uploading it. There are a lot of other steps involved, lot of efforts involved in designing one online course. It's not as easy as it looks. There is something called curriculum design, content design, and there is something called instructional design. There are a lot of things I personally follow in creating an online course. And all of these that I'm talking about, content design, curriculum design, instructional design, I learned from those corporates, from those e learning divisions I worked for, which I actually did not like initially when I opted for, but I had to do it for the sake of retaining the job. But that came in immensely helpful when I wanted to launch these Mandala online courses. And when I launched with ease, there were a lot of people who, initially purchased my courses. And the kind of feedback that I received was, your courses are amazing, rather well structured, extremely helpful. Thank you. But trust me, this is the first time in my life I'm having a learning management system on my own. And this is the very first time in my life that I'm designing an online course and I'm uploading the videos and all of that. How come when someone does for the first time, that too without any external help, can do it right? It's only because of the experience that I gained at corporates. How did I gain that experience? Was it my own wish? No. As I told you already, in fact, I did not like this e learning division at all. I was forced by people to get into that division, and now it helps. So, when I look back at my life, I am understanding that God is always watching you, and your plan for your own life will sometimes not happen because God has better plans for you. If you have already experienced something similar, great. If you have not experienced something similar, I want you to remember, if something in your life does not happen according to your plan, remember, it only means in the background God is working for you. Now, those who are listening to whatever I'm saying, I want you all to share your experience about what I said in the comments, and I would love to read all of them and I will respond to each and every one of your share. So go ahead and share your experience about what I just shared. Mandala for this challenge is done. Now go ahead, recreate it, share it with me.